Welcome to Nazarene, Israel. I'm Norman Willis, and this is Parasha Ekev for 2022. And before we begin, we've got a couple important announcements. The first one is that we are on mission here in South Colombia in the Andean highlands, and it is very noisy here at this time of year. So if you hear noise, just know that the Catholic Church has done an amazing job of teaching people to be satisfied with only half the truth. So they know enough to worship a Jewish Messiah, but they do so on all the wrong days and in all the wrong ways. And one of the things they do is they'll make a nativity scene, or they'll have a gathering, and they'll hear a sermon, someone talking, but then they'll blast loud music the rest of the night. And this is their manner of celebrating the nativity in their minds of the Messiah. Anyway, a lot of need for prayer here, a lot of room for the Great Commission throughout Latin America. So please pray for the mission to be a success. And in fact, please pray for our mission to the entire world, because Yahweh is blessing us amazingly these last few weeks. We now have 4 new language branch heads. So next week, I will be passing the parasha to our new head of the English language discipleship branch, Ulysses Rodriguez, or Yuli. And he will then be taking over the English language parasha. So he will pick up, Father willing, next week with Parasha Ekev. And Yuli plans to make it a parasha on restoring right family order and restoring right family structure according to Scripture. And he also hopes to help men order their families the way Scripture says to order their families, so they're no longer dysfunctional and mixed with the world. So I was studying at one point to be a shrink. I was enrolled in a PhD program, unenrolled to do this. And that's the joke, is that, well, one of many jokes is that 95% of all families are dysfunctional. And the other 5%, they can't find them. But the thing is, while family relationships are never easy, they can be greatly improved by following Yahweh's ways and overcoming problems not in the flesh, but by Yeshua's Spirit. And he hopes to talk all about that. He has a lot of experience in helping families turn around. So please stay tuned for his parasha. In the meantime, I'm going to go back to work on the doctrinal studies and also some other special projects that should help both Ephraim and Judah and all of the body of Nazarene Israel together. So please stay tuned for those also. But we see that there are 2 main themes here in Ekev. And the first is the blessing we get when we willfully submit and obey everything Yahweh says. And the second thing is the theme of intercession for those who are not yet willing to submit to Elohim's Spirit and be diligent to do everything that he says and be obedient. So first, we're going to look at the obedience theme. And then in the second half of the parasha, we'll take a look at the intercession theme. So Ekev begins in Devarim, or Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 12, where Moshe says, "Then it shall come to pass, because you listen to these judgments and keep and do them, that's why Yahweh your Elohim will keep with you the covenant and the mercy which he swore to our forefathers." So we look up this word because, or Ekev. We find it Strong's Concordance, Hebrew or Older Testament, 6118, Ekev, and it means a heel. In fact, it shares the same 3-letter root as Yaakov's name, so it is referring, in fact, to a heel. But used in this context, remembering Hebrew is an action-oriented language, in this context is what it means. It means on the heels of, meaning as a result of. So what Yahweh is really saying here is, then it shall come to pass, as a result of shema'ing, or hearing and obeying Yahweh's judgments, and then keeping them and doing all of them with a whole heart. That's why Yahweh, your Elohim, will also keep the covenant of mercy, which he swore to our forefathers with us. So because we obey, that's why we get blessed. There's a very definite cause and effect relationship here. And it's basically the same message every week. But here in this parasha, the message Moshe is trying to impress upon our forefathers is the fact that in order to remain in Yahweh's favor, we have to hear his voice and obey it. Or if we can't hear his voice, We have to follow the leading of someone who does. And it's the same message every week. And the reason it's the same message every week is because most of us in Ephraim and in Judah are just reading right by it. It couldn't be plainer than day. It's right there in the pages of the text. If we would just read the word and do what it says. If we, his people, will seek his face, then we, his people, will experience his grace or his unmerited favor or chen. But the thing is, there's only one way to do that. There's only one way to get there from here. And that is to hear what Yahweh's voice is saying and then obey everything his voice says willingly, with a whole heart, with all of our heart, with all of our soul and all of our strength. And there's a spiritual component. We have to love him enough to do that. But we also have to obey not just part of his commandments. Rather, we have to obey what Brother Judah would call taryag mitzvot, or all of the commandments, everything Yahweh says, not just the ones we like, and not just our own version of the commandments in Talmud either. So, because what Yahweh's trying to tell us, if we would just listen, is that if we will hasten and be diligent to do what he says, that's when he's going to be hasten and be diligent to show up for us. If we will obey him, that's when he answers our prayers. That's when he saves us in the battle. That's when he saves us in the day of distress. So, as we are loyal and faithful to him, so is he loyal and faithful to us. Very definite cause and effect relationship. So he shows up for us on the heels of our obedience, Ekev, and not otherwise. And there's a lot of Ephraimites and Jews who are very confused on that point. It's a good time to be getting straightened out. There's only one way to receive the blessings of obedience. And we'll talk about that in this parasha. Please join us. In Devarim chapter 7 and verse 12, Moshe is summarizing everything for our ancestors. He's getting ready to die and to pass the reins on to Joshua. It's like he keeps saying the same things over and over and over again throughout Devarim or Deuteronomy. And the reason why is because our forefathers are just not hearing it. It's like they hear the sound of the words, but it kind of goes in and bounces around and goes out the other ear. They're not hearing it. They're not getting it. They're not shema'ing the word of Yahweh. Well, in the previous parasha, we saw how Moshe is recounting the commandments for the people. He's trying to get them ready for them to go into the land, and he's not going to be there. Okay. So here in Ekev, it's the same message as always. Then it shall come to pass, Ekev, on the heels of, or as a result of. Then it shall come to pass, Ekev, listening to these judgments, coupled with your keeping them and doing them, that Yahweh or Elohim will also keep with you the covenant and the mercy which he swore to your fathers. And he will love you and bless you and multiply you for your willing obedience to his word. He'll also bless the fruit of your wombs, the fruit of your land, your grain, and your new wine, and your oil, the increase of your cattle, and the offspring of your flock, in the land of which he swore to your forefathers to give you. And you shall be blessed above all peoples. There shall not be a male or a female barren among you, or even among your livestock. And Yahweh will take away from you all sickness, and he will afflict you with none of the terrible diseases of Egypt, which you have known. But he will lay them on all those who hate you. So basically, if we are 100% loyal to him, to the point of manifesting his son's spirit, then he will be 100% loyal to us because he's being loyal to a manifestation of his son's spirit. Meaning, if we will make that maximum effort to obey him in 100% of everything, and listen, Shema diligently for his voice, and hasten to do all that his voice says, then he will make life better for us than we can ever even imagine. And if not, basically, he's going to exterminate us for our disloyalty, and not in a fun way, but he's righteous about it. Now, but the thing is, we also saw last week in Parasha Ekev that every one of our ancestors who held fast to what Yahweh said lived and made it into the land. They obeyed him, and so they survived. They survived that tribulation because they served him with their whole hearts. And isn't that really what he wants? He wants all of our attentions because he tells us he's a jealous Elohim, and he's jealous of our attentions. So Yuli will talk about this more when he gets into his family-oriented parashot. But the point is that regardless of what anyone else around us is doing or not doing, if we ourselves will put him first, put him above everything else, and I'm talking about family, talking about friends, talking about worldly pursuits, if we will truly put him first, then he will bless us more than we could ever even imagine. But in order to please him, first we need a spiritual transformation. It's not something we can do in our own flesh. We must be transformed by the renewing of our minds, such that we no longer think about ourselves and our own good, but that we trust that if we will serve him with everything that we have, he will make things so good for us we can't even imagine it. And we need to follow the examples of Yeshua and Moshe. And one of the things that we see both Yeshua and Moshe doing is interceding for the people. It's a sad and then glad history. Yeshua tells Shimon Kepha, or Peter, that he will fall away from him and that Satan will sift him like wheat. But the thing is, Yeshua didn't condemn him for it. He could have, but rather Yeshua prayed for Kepha that after he had returned, that he would then turn and strengthen his brothers. And it's the same way with Moshe. In Devarim chapter 9 and verse 20, Moshe tells us that Yahweh was very angry with Aharon to the point that he would have destroyed Aharon for leading our forefathers astray in the sin of the golden calf. So what did Moshe do? Moshe interceded, and he prayed for Aharon at the same time he was praying for our ancestors. In verse 25, Moshe says, "Thus I prostrated myself before Yahweh. 40 days and 40 nights I kept prostrating myself because Yahweh had said he would destroy you." But what did Moshe get out of it? Anything? Why did he do it then? You know, it may be an oversimplification, but it's nonetheless true. The highest form of love for Yahweh is to be our brother's keepers. And that's because Yahweh created us to be our brother's keepers. He created us to be one big happy family worldwide. And it was always mankind's job to take care of Yahweh's planet and to serve as our brother's keepers. But we didn't like that. Okay, why not? What happened? Well, the Nephilim were the first of the fallen mighty ones. Now, they no longer sought Yahweh's spirit regarding marriage. Now, the word Nephilim means the fallen ones. It's Strong's Hebrew 5303. And where they had fallen from is they had fallen in the spirit realm, because now, instead of letting Yahweh's spirit guide them with relationships and marriage to what Yahweh wanted for them, the mighty ones who had fallen in the spirit, they now began choosing their own wives for themselves. They didn't wait for Yahweh to bring them wives anymore by his spirit. They chose wives for themselves, probably based on fleshly criterion, the way they look, family ties, power, things of that nature. It's the same way today with the rich and powerful Babylonian elites. They get married based on looks, family ties, power, this kind of thing. And of course, the world all runs after that. So they make the front cover of all the Babylonian magazines. And they are also the ones who've set up this whole Babylonian system whereby the strong exploit the weak rather than serving them as their own brothers, serving as their brothers' keepers. It's the exact opposite thing. And that's why Yaakov or James tells us that the royal law is the opposite of the Babylonian fleshly law. The royal law, rather, is to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. Okay, but how many of us say this as opposed to how many of us actually practice and seek to do this, just like Yeshua and just like Moshe? Sometimes we can see where our brothers are sinning, and this is why Yohanan Aleph, or 1 John chapter 5, starting in verse 16, tells us that if anyone sees his brother sinning a sin which does not lead to death, he will ask Yahweh, and Yahweh will give him life for those who commit a sin that does not lead to death. Okay, what kind of sin doesn't lead to death? We're talking about an unintentional sin or a sin committed in ignorance. We didn't know. Okay. It's still sin. It still needs to be corrected. And as soon as possible, we need to set things right. But the fact is, if the sin was unintentional or if it was committed in ignorance, it means that it is pardonable. Why is it pardonable? Because it's not rebellion or simple negligence or disregard and failure to obey all of Yahweh's commandments, like most of us in Ephraim and Judah. So Yaakov continues, there is a sin leading to death, okay? The sins that stem from rebellion or any kind of a dereliction of duty or a negligence to perform Yahweh's commandments, iniquity. He says, I do not say that he should pray about rebellion or iniquity or dereliction of duty. All unrighteousness, meaning in Hebraic idiom, meaning all Torah breaking, is sin. But there is a sin that doesn't lead to death. Okay, again, it means they didn't know. Okay, and they correct themselves as soon as they become aware, like we correct with the Sabbath, like we correct the feast, like we correct with the tithe laws, like we correct with all of the Torah. Verse 18, he says, we know that whoever is born of Elohim or born of the light does not sin. Why? It's because he's been spiritually transformed. And therefore, it's no longer he who lives, but now it's Messiah's spirit that lives within him. And it's Messiah's spirit that moves him. He says, but he who has been born of Elohim guards himself. He guards his spirit. And the wicked one, therefore, can't touch him. So the message here, brothers and sisters, is if we intercede for those who can be won, those who are not backslidden, they're not in rebellion, they're not stopping up their ears, what a wonderful thing that is to help a sinner turn from his sin because we love them that much. We're willing to make that effort to help them. Yaakov tells us that if anyone among us wanders from the truth and someone intercedes for him and turns him back, let him know that he who turns a sinner from the error of his way will save a soul from death and cover a multitude of sins. And isn't that what both Moshe and Yeshua were doing? Isn't that also what the apostle Shaul did? You know, the thing is, when someone hits us, our first fleshly reflex is to hit them back. When someone hurts us, our flesh wants to hurt them back also. So our fleshly reaction is law to you and Yahweh's favor or grace unto me. We see this all the time inside the brotherhood. Okay? We judge other people negatively. We never think about what that says about us. Now, doesn't judging involve judgment? Okay? Doesn't it kind of involve revenge when we let our flesh get in the way? Whereas Yahweh says, vengeance is mine. I will be the one to repay, not you. You won't do it right. We won't do it right. He knows how to do it right. You know, we still all need to discern. We need to be able to tell whether something is a sin or something is not a sin. We need that discernment. But what's so important about intercession is that the energy changes from one of discerning and then judging, which is a negative outcome, to one of discerning and then interceding, which is a positive outcome. Intercession takes all the negative energy away and then flips it and turns it into a positive. And that's what Yahweh wants from us, because it requires compassion and mercy rather than judgment. This is a reflection of his own heart. Yahweh is great in long suffering, compassion, and kindness. Now, to be clear, discernment is good. We all need to be able to tell the difference. We need to be able to tell when someone's doing something that's wrong so that we can then rebuke him and help him. But the point is to help him rather than just to judge him for doing the wrong thing. You know, Moshe was an anointed judge. He could have judged. He had that authority. But when Yahweh offered to destroy our forefathers and make Moshe's children into a nation greater than Israel, Moshe didn't do that, even though it would have been just, even though it would have been to his benefit. Instead, Moshe chose the sacrificial lifestyle that Yahweh loves so much. He placed the needs of his unfaithful brothers and sisters ahead of his own needs in order that he might be able to bring his brothers and sisters back to obedience. And this also glorifies Yahweh's name. So he interceded for our ancestors, our forefathers, saying, "Yet now, if you will forgive their sin, but if not, I pray, blot me out of your book, which you have written." Moshe took the negative judgment and he flipped it and converted it into a hopeful, positive prayer. And that's Elohim's wish for every one of us as well, is that we turn from Satan's negative, condemning judgment and turn toward Yahweh's favor and grace, compassion and mercy and love. That is how, my brothers, we go from being children of darkness to becoming children of the light. You know, we all get hurt, and sin does need to be put outside the camp. You can't have someone sinning and let them stay inside the assembly. First there's education, and then there's correction. You know, but they also say that the people who are hardest to love, those are the ones who need love the most. And we have plenty of situations like that in our assemblies and in our families. Again, that doesn't mean that we don't rebuke them. It doesn't mean we don't challenge them to obey Yahweh's Torah and to live up to the fullness of what they know. But if Yeshua can forgive and pray for those who are putting him to death on the cross or the stake or whatever you want to call it, if he can do that, is there any reason we can't forgive those who transgress against us? Is there any reason we can't pray for those who are doing us wrong? Really? Like what? Okay. Is there any reason we can't take negative energy and then flip it, convert it, and turn it into positive energy with the help of Yeshua's Spirit? Or are we perhaps not able to do all things through Messiah Yeshua's Spirit? You know, Moshe had to wander in the wilderness for 40 years because our forefathers didn't want to put Yahweh first. We didn't want to obey all of Elohim's commandments. In fact, our forefathers acted a lot like we do today. We want all the benefits, but we don't want the costs, right? We want our father's blessings, but we only want to keep the part of his family rules that are convenient. So we want a blessing that doesn't come on the heels of our obedience. We want a blessing that comes irregardless of our partial obedience. Moshe chose to wander 40 years in the wilderness with our ancestors. He could have gone straight to the promised land with his own children. He could have had his own nation. So why didn't Moshe do it? You know, I don't know exactly, and scripture doesn't say specifically, but I imagine it has to do with the fact that Moshe knew Yahweh's nature. He knew that Yahweh is an Elohim of compassion and mercy and love. Or else what does he want to do with us, right? You know, but I also imagine that Moshe, like Yeshua, dreamed that perhaps one day, sometime perhaps in the far distant future, thousands of years from then, there would become an Israelite people who earnestly wanted to keep all of Yahweh's commandments with all of their heart, with all of their soul, and with all of their strength. We have the opportunity to become those people. All we need to do is to commit ourselves to give back to the one who gave everything for us. And we need to do what he wants by putting our brothers ahead of ourselves and praying for them when they fall into error. Dear Father Yahweh, our flesh is weak. Please help make us more like your Son. Please help us to commit ourselves to you and to intercede for our brothers when they fall into sin. Not to judge, not to choose the way of darkness, but to focus on you, to choose the way of light because you desire it. Father, please lead us to walk in all of your Son's ways, interceding for our brothers who've fallen into sin, that we might become better servants for your Son, Yeshua, our Messiah and King. Amen.